everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a haul that I'm very excited about because all of these books are like the spooky or witchy books that I've bought over like the last month and a half. There are quite a lot of them. I just get so excited about buying books for the spooky season that I never attempt to rein myself in, and that's okay sometimes, but I do have a lot of books to get through. So I think we're just gonna get into it. I'm not gonna go into like full synopses of these books, but I will give you like a decent idea as to what they're about, so never you fear. I do have like a couple of categories that these fit into. I have adult horror and also like contemporary romance books that are like kind of spooky as well. I have YA mysteries and thrillers, general YA spooky books, which also include like some witchy books as well. And then at the end I am going to show you like some general YA books. They don't really fit in with the season, but I have like bought them recently and I want to talk about them. So I'll put like timestamps down in the description and whatnot in case you're only really interested in like one of those categories. You can skip to that one, or you can just stay for the whole video. I certainly hope you do. So yeah, I'm just gonna jump into it because there are like 30 books here to talk about. And that's a lot, frankly. So I'm going to start with these three like spooky romance rom-com type books that I have here. The first two books that I want to talk about really quickly are books that were sent to me by the publisher. So again, thank you so much to HarperCollins for sending these to me. I loved both of these. So I have Angelica Frankenstein Makes Your Match by Sally Thorne and The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling. Angelica Frankenstein Makes Your Match, like I said, have already read. I loved it so much. It's like a contemporary romance retelling sort of Frankenstein, and basically that's all I needed to know. I've had my eye on this book since like March. I knew it was coming out and I was so excited for it, and I'm so glad that I read it because it was a really good time, honestly. This takes place in 1814, I believe, so you have that like Regency, Jane Austen, Bridgerton kind of vibe going on with it, which was really fun. And it follows Angelica, who is in her late 20s and single, so she is seen as a spinster, you know, for the time. So she gets fed up basically and she makes her own man by bringing a corpse back to life. Can't say I'd do it myself, but gotta admire the determination. And then also I have The Kiss Curse, which is like a companion novel to The Ex-Hex. I liked this one a little bit less than The Ex-Hex, but I still thought it was really fun. This book follows Gwen, who's a witch who lives in this town called Graves Glen. She runs a shop which is called Something Wicked, and then one day she sees that there is this dude moving into the shop across from her, basically outdoing her with the witchy items for the tourists to buy. So she's not having it. They have their little rivalry moment, and then at some point in the book there's like this whole other magical threat that's kind of thrown in there as well. And then I also picked up Go Hex Yourself by Jessica Clare. I don't know what this book is about, to be honest. I was on my Ex-Hex Angelica Frankenstein high when I bought this book, and I was like, it's got witches in it, I'm gonna buy it. I think this involves like some sort of card game. I think they hate each other. They're both magic users. That's all I got. I think it's gonna be fun. I was just looking for literally any witchy rom-com I could get my hands on, and this was the first one I saw, so I was like, yeah, add to cart. So that was like the spooky romance section. Now I have like general adult horror / spooky books. So first of all, I have Dracul by Dacre Stoker and J.D. Barker. This was written by like, I think Dacre Stoker is Bram Stoker's great some sort of relation, and it's written by like the notes that were left behind by Bram Stoker himself when he was writing Dracula. It basically is told in like a couple of different timelines. So you have Bram Stoker when he's like 20, I think, and then you also are kind of following him when he's a young child in the beginning. It's basically about him trying to figure out what the deal is with his nanny that he had when he was younger, because she's a little bit weird, she's a little off. Her age seems to fluctuate. She's able to like heal him miraculously, and obviously that's kind of sus. So it's basically just that. I am actually in the middle of this book right now. I'm like 230 pages in. It is slow going, but I would definitely say it's worth it. It's very, like, there's so many questions that I have and none of them have been answered really. Like, there's this one main thing that is definitely keeping me going, and I feel like it would keep a lot of people reading. So if you want like a slow kind of eerie book, that involves vampires, definitely would recommend this one. Also, since this is a book haul, I will talk about the cover for a second. This is not the US cover of this book. I think this is what the US cover of the book looks like. I don't really love the US cover, but obviously this is sick. I love the cover for this one. I think this is the general UK paperback cover, and I love the red contrasting with the black. I love this tower. I love this little flappy cutout thingy it's got here, and I really like the spine. So I ordered this off of Book Depository because I really wanted it, and it is so cool. So love the book, and I love the edition of the book, so that's really fun. Next up, I have, this is kind of funny honestly, because I think I've hauled like 2 other editions of this book in the time that I've had my YouTube channel, and I still have yet to read it. But I think the problem is one of them is like this really busted, old looking hardback of it that I just can't bring myself to actually read because it's fragile. She's very fragile. And then I also have like a mass market paperback, which I just cannot read things out of mass market paperbacks. So I saw Ashley from Frolic Through Fiction haul this in one of her recent videos, and I loved the cover of it. I thought it was so fun, and I never knew this cover existed, but as soon as I saw it, I was like, give it to me, please. And that is Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury. I feel like every time I talk about this book, I'm like, I'm so excited to read it. And then I never read it. I think I'm gonna start reading this one soon. I have high hopes for myself, hopefully. But I really enjoy this cover. I think the carousel on the front of it is so ominous, and I love, I don't know, something about this cover speaks to me. This book is about like a traveling carnival that kind of shows up in this town overnight, which I feel like when I say that, that's exactly how I would describe the night circus. But this one's like spooky, you know, like I think it's kind of considered horror. I've read some other of Ray Bradbury's like spookier works. I read The October Country, and I also read The Halloween Tree. Love the vibes of those books so much. So obviously, like, I really need to get to it. I need to read it so badly. If I don't read it this October, somebody yell at me. Like, please. I just need to, like, what's wrong with me? Why haven't I read this book yet? I don't know. But it's gonna happen. Hopefully in this lovely edition. So next up is another book that I've read recently, and that is Horseman by Christina Henry. This one is like a kind of sequel of sorts to The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. It follows our main character Ben, who is the grandson of Brom Bones, who is like the main kind of antagonist almost in like the actual story of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. So you're following him. One day he sees like this grotesquely mutilated body in the woods. Naturally, he thinks it is the Headless Horseman that has done this, and basically this book is following him and his journey to figure out like who's doing this, why they're doing this, all that kind of stuff. So wasn't my favorite, honestly, but if you like The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, I definitely recommend picking this up anyway. So next up, I have a short story collection, and the thing that really drew me in about this one is the cover, obviously. And that is, this is Halloween by James A. Moore. These are like 10 short stories of sorts pertaining to Halloween. So when I saw that and I saw the cover, I was like, okay, yeah, give it to me. Let me read the back of this to you because I really do not know, like even when I've read the short story collection, I don't know how to give a good synopsis of it, but considering I haven't read it, I have no clue. Honestly. So the back of this book says, James A. Moore offers up 10 autumnal tales of the darker things that lurk around the corner of Indian summer. A man learns of a town's obsession with scarecrows and tries to find the answers as to why they're so important. Children move through familiar streets and find that Halloween makes everything different. 'Tis the season when ghosts are real, witches soar through the night, and things in the Bedlam woods are not always what they seem. Sometimes the monsters wear the masks. Did that tell you guys anything? Because I don't know if that told me anything, to be honest, but at any rate, I'm still excited about it. I really do like short stories when they're done well, so I'll be interested to see what I think of this one. I don't know if I will have the time to get to it this year, but I did just want to have this for whenever I feel like picking it up. So here's this one. This next book I am so excited to jump into, and that is The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Other Stories by Robert Louis Stevenson. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, and it is so pretty. I love the cover for this one as well. I love the test tube on the spine. I just think it's so fun. But this has obviously The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in it, and like 8 other stories by him as well, and I'm so excited to jump into mainly Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but I also really want to read The Body Snatcher because I heard again, Ashley from Frolic Through Fiction. I've been watching a lot of her videos recently, but she mentioned it and she said it was a good short story, and I was like, I want a good short story, you know, a good horror short story. I think it's about grave robbers, which is fascinating, frankly. So I'm really excited about that. Hopefully I can read maybe like one of these this month. If I was gonna pick one, it would probably be The Body Snatcher just because it's short, but at some point in my life I need to read Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So I'm very excited to have this one. I don't think I need to tell you what that one's about. I'm just gonna assume you know. Next up I have Dark Entries by Robert Ackman. I still don't know how to say this. Ackman? But Neil Gaiman says he really is the best, and I would trust Neil Gaiman's opinion on this, so I had to pick it up. This is again a short story collection. I think this was written originally in the 60s, I believe, so I think horror from like that kind of period in time is always just really interesting to read because it's either really not scary or it's terrifying. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really hoping he can deliver on both, which I'm very excited about. I honestly, I don't know anything about any of the stories in general because again, I haven't read it. I think the main thing about this book that really drew me in though was the cover. I mean, look at this. This is a house. It looks like a house. I think it's a house. It's like a house with like some graveyards going on, and there's like this full moon. Like A+ for cover design. Like whoever designed this, I love it. Again, I don't know if I'll be able to get to this book either this season, but I did want to have it on hand for whenever I'm feeling like a spooky short story. So really excited to have that. And then lastly in this category, I have another Ray Bradbury book, and that is From the Dust Returned. Again, the main thing that drew me in about this book is the cover. I love the cover of this book so much. I think about it quite frequently, honestly. I mean, it's just so, I love this art style so much. It's like one of my favorite, is this my favorite book cover? It might be. I just love it so much. This book was written by Ray Bradbury like a little bit later in his life. I think this came out in like the early 2001. There we go. I do believe this book follows like an Addams Family type of family. They are kind of weird. They're creepy and kooky. How does the song go? Mysterious and spooky. The Addams Family, you know what I'm saying. So it follows like an eternal family, basically, but one of them is not immortal. So I think he's kind of grasping with that. And aside from that, I don't know much about this book, but that's all I needed to know. I don't really want to go in knowing too much, but that was indeed enough information to get me interested. So really excited about this and the edition. I'm sorry, I won't get over it. I just love it so much. So that kind of marks the end of my adult book category here. I am going to jump into my YA books in just a second, which I'm very excited to talk about. First, I do want to take a second to talk about the sponsor of this video, who I am so excited to be working with, and that is Casetify. Honestly, when they reached out and asked to work with me, I was like, me? No way. I'm so excited about this, and I cannot wait to show you the cases that they sent me. Oh my gosh. I have shattered my phone many a times. I don't even want to talk about it. It's happened a lot, honestly. So the fact that Casetify has so many cute phone cases that also offer just like the best protection makes me so excited. So Casetify is the world's most popular tech accessory brand. They have so many phone cases and AirPod cases and just other protective gear for any tech that you could possibly have. Like I said, all of their phone cases are incredibly protective. They're actually drop tested up to 8.2 feet, and I just love that you can get that protection with your phone, but they also have over 2,000 different cases and customizable options available as well. However, the two main reasons I love Casetify are their artist program and their sustainability mission. In their artist program, they work with diverse and global partners, and they're always striving to help communities. And they also have their sustainability mission, which is Recasetify, which I love seeing companies with good sustainability missions. All of their cases are 65% recycled, and they've actually recycled over 51,000 of their own cases, which leads to 20% less carbon emissions total, which I love to see it, honestly. So like I said, they have a lot of fun cases. They also have a lot of fun accessories, which I'm so excited to show you. So first of all, I have the case that I've been wearing on my phone, which is this bat case. I had to get some good cases for Halloween, obviously. This is also an ultra impact case, so it has like these extra little bumpers around the edge, which are really good in case you would drop your phone. And then they also sent me 3 other cases. So one of the other ones that I picked up was this like autumnal sketchy looking one, which is also one of their ultra impact cases. This is gonna be my phone case for after Halloween, and I'm so excited about it, frankly. These other 2 I have here are their normal impact cases. So first of all, I have this one with these white butterflies all over it, which I think is so cute. I love the contrasting black and white on it, especially since it like kind of matches the ring around the camera as well. And then this last one I think I'm the most excited about because I think it's so cute. And I was getting Instagram ads for this artist who is Yeonju for like months, I swear, and every time I saw one I was like, the art is so cute. So when I had the opportunity to pick one out, I was like, oh my gosh, please. It reminds me of my own cat Poppy almost. This is one of their phone straps, but it's like beaded and they put my name on it, which I think is really fun. And I will definitely be busting this out come summer. It's perfect, it's so colorful, and I think it'll be so fun. But if you want something like a little more neutral, they also have like these chain things that you can attach to your phone and kind of like wear across your body almost, I think. So these are two very different vibes here, but they definitely have something for everybody, which I love. If you guys liked any of these cases, or if you just want to take a look around and get 15% off of your order, you can go to casetify.com/katieisreadingyt. Yeah, again, thank you so much to Casetify for working with me and sponsoring this video. So with all of that, let's get back into the haul and talk about some of the YA spooky books that I've acquired recently. So first up, I have like my YA thrillers. First of all, I have Two Can Keep a Secret by Karen M. McManus. Honestly, I don't know anything about any of these YA thrillers that I've picked up because I want to go into them knowing nothing, so I feel like this is going to be a rather short section, but I picked this one up because I've seen people talking about Karen M. McManus's other series, One of Us is Lying. I don't know if that's the name of the series, but I think that's the first book in that series. And I was intrigued, so I picked it up. Gave me Pretty Little Lies vibes. Obviously, I have no idea if it's gonna be anything like Pretty Little Liars, but considering it's like exactly what's in the theme song of Pretty Little Liars, I'm gonna assume it's kind of similar. I don't know though. I guess that's for me to find out. And then I also have two books out of the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. I have the first book, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and As Good as Dead, which is the third book. I need to find the second one somewhere, but I'll get that at some other point in time because I saw this one at Half Price Books, so I had to pick it up. It's also signed, which is really fun, so I was like, why not? Again, I don't know anything about this series, but I've seen so many good things about it that I am intrigued enough that I wanted to pick it up. I think it's gonna be really fun. I'm definitely leaning towards reading this in November. I kind of want to do a vlog where I read like all three of them in a weekend or something. I feel like that'd be fun. So if that's something you'd be interested in, let me know. But I'm definitely leaning towards doing something like that, and I want to go in not knowing anything. Like, I just want to be taken off guard, you know what I'm saying? So I have these two. Next up, this book is actually kindly sent to me by Darcy, so again, thank you so much, Darcy. And that is The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin. I actually read this book a few days ago and it was so fun. Like, I would highly recommend. In this world, there are witches, and the witch's magic is tied to like seasons, so whatever season you were born in, I think it has to do with what season you were born in. That's what your magic is tied to. So like if you're born in fall, you have like autumn themed magic, I guess. But every now and then they get this type of witch who is called an Everwitch, who can actually control like all 4 seasons worth of magic. And naturally, our main character is an Everwitch. So you're seeing her deal with that and what it means to be an Everwitch in this world. It also has like themes of environmentalism and talking about like global warming and all that kind of stuff is an undertone, which I really like thrown in there. I feel like it was woven in so seamlessly, and I loved the commentary. Big fan, such a big fan actually, that I had to go out the next day after I finished that book and pick up Wild is the Witch, which is Rachel Griffin's newest book. I think it came out this year. I don't know anything about this, honestly. I'm gonna assume there's witches in it. I don't know if we're gonna have another Everwitch in this, but on top of the flap, it says it's an immersive enemies to lovers contemporary fantasy standalone. So that's all I want to know. I didn't really know much about this book either going into it, and I feel like going into books not knowing anything is just so fun, you know? So that's why I struggle to do hauls, because I'm like, I want to give you guys an idea of what the book is about, but at the same time, I don't want to go in knowing that much. So yeah, similar vibes. I'm gonna assume. I'm really excited about it. Next up, I recently picked up Lake's Edge by Lyndall Clipstone. I do believe this is like a gothic YA fantasy, and that was all I needed to know about it before I bought it. But I do believe it follows a sister and her younger brother who are plagued by her younger brother's powers in some way, and in order to deal with this, they end up going to stay at this gothic looking mansion, but there's this like dude that lives there, and I think there's a romance. Was that the worst description of a book you've ever heard? Probably, yeah, but again, like, this book I really don't want to go in knowing anything, so also just look at the cover. Like, from the cover alone, I was like, yeah, I need to read it. Next up, I have The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw. I do know what this book is about because I've talked about it in so many vlogs, yet I never read it in any of those vlogs. So, it follows three sisters who were, I believe, executed in the 1820s. Oh, they're witches. I probably should have prefaced that they're witches. They're witches, and they got executed in this small town in Oregon in 1822, I believe. Basically, with the death of these witches, a curse was placed on the town, and I think people are still dealing with the effects of it to this day. So I love a good cursed town kind of story. I love a good witchy story. Also, we are going to take a second to talk about this book cover because I really like the dust jacket for this one. I think just like the silver foiling and the navy, very pretty. But underneath, it's got a moon and silver foil stars, and I'm obsessed with it, frankly. Like, I love when naked hardcovers look like this. It's stunning. And then these two other books I have, I've also read, but it's fine. Next up, we have An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. This follows our main character, who is a mortal who lives kind of on the edge of Fae territory, and she is blessed with the craft of painting, and all of the Fae love her paintings like they're stunning. One day, however, she is asked to paint a portrait for the Fae Prince of Autumn, I think, and she paints him as she sees him, but he apparently does not like it. So he ends up dragging her, or attempting to drag her, back to his court to be tried for something in court. I don't even remember. Honestly, like, the plot kind of fell off towards the second half of this book, but it takes place mainly in the autumn court, and the descriptions of all of these trees and just the area, the scenery, were stunning. Like, if you want a good atmospheric book for fall, this one is the one. I also really love the romance. I thought it was cute, so. And then lastly, we have Long Live the Pumpkin Queen by Shay Earnshaw. This is kind of like a sequel to Nightmare Before Christmas, but in novel form. It follows Sally, who is kind of coming into her role as the Pumpkin Queen. But one day when she's off in the woods just trying to like recollect, she sees another door. Like, you know how in the beginning of the movie there's all those doors to all of the holiday towns? Well, my friends, there is another one, and she opens it and never closes it. So something comes out into Halloween Town and into all of the rest of the towns as well, wreaking havoc, and it is now Sally's job to fix it, and it was really fun. Okay, so that kind of marks the end of my spooky YA. Now I have like not spooky YA, so I'm just gonna run through this really quickly because I just want to talk about some of these editions that I have because wow. So first of all, I ended up buying a box set of the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series by Laini Taylor. I loved Strange the Dreamer so much, so obviously I had to pick up her other series, and I'm really excited about this one. I don't know what this series is about though, to be honest, and I don't want to know what it's about. Like, I literally have no clue, but I will just jump into it one day not knowing anything, and it will be the best time ever. So we have Daughter of Smoke and Bone, Days of Blood and Starlight, and then we also have the last one, Dreams of Gods and Monsters. Also, can we talk about these covers? I love them. Honestly, I don't know how other people feel about them, but I think they're really cool. I love like the neon colors, and everything just pops so much, and it's so fun. And I know these are like newer covers, so I don't know if people like are attached to the older ones or whatever. I don't love the older ones, honestly, with like the eyes with like the bright colors. Not into it, but these are beautiful, and the cover designs are stunning. So, big fan, really glad to have this, and I think the box set was only like $25 on Amazon, which was kind of a deal. So, I'm still really excited about it. Next up, I have These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. This is the Wyverns and Words October book club pick, so obviously I need to pick this one up rather soon. I'm sure we all know this at this point, but this is a Romeo and Juliet retelling that takes place in 1926 Shanghai, which like literally say no more. That sounds so good. I've definitely heard kind of mixed reviews about this book, but I'm still really excited to jump into it, and I think it's going to be really fun. Although mainly I kind of want to read this one and the next one, which is These Violent Ends, so I can get to this next book that I want to talk about really quickly, and that is Foul Lady Fortune, also by Chloe Gong. This one, I don't know if it's like exactly a spin-off or it's like a sequel or whatever. I'm not 100% sure, but I was looking online and they did say that things going on in this would spoil These Violent Ends, and I didn't want to do that, so I decided they were probably connected enough that it would be beneficial to read these Violent Delights before I hopped into this series, but look at this one. It's so gorgeous. I also just wanted to point out that Cass sent me this book, which just makes it that much more special. This one takes place in 1931 Shanghai, so like 5 years later than the last one, and it's about a spy. I think there's fake dating in it too, so come on now. Sounds perfect. Again, like, that's all I know, and that's all I want to know. I'm so unbelievably excited for this though, so really hoping I can get through the other two quickly so I can read it. And then lastly, I have two very exciting books. First of all, I picked up the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition of Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I read this book earlier this summer, but I borrowed it from the library. So when I saw that they re-released like the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition of Once Upon a Broken Heart, it's like, give it to me, please. I love the pink so much. I think it's so pretty. And then also under the dust jacket, we have a recipes of the ancient North? What's it, Norse? I don't know. But anyway, we've got gold foiling. It's so pretty. Wow. Stunning. I love the pink of it too. Like, any book that's pink, I'm like, yeah, I love this book, but I've already read it. But this next one I have not read, and that is The Ballad of Never After, also by Stephanie Garber. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, but it's also signed, which is so fun, and she signed it in purple. Perfect. And then when you look under the dust jacket, we have The Rise and Fall of the Valors in this stunning pink foiling. I'm so excited about this book. I have heard things. I will not tell you what those things are though, because I already didn't want to know these things, but I've heard things about this book. I'm also really excited about this one because I've heard that it is getting another book. I think Stephanie Garber announced that recently, so it'll be like a trilogy, even though I thought it was going to be duology, but whatever. And I see a lot of people aren't like super happy about that almost. I feel like they wanted it to stop after this one, so I'm really interested to see what the ending of this book is, that it could have been a duology. I'm really excited about this one, but I think I'm gonna save it for December maybe. Like, the first book gave me major winter vibes, and I want to save this one for when it's actually winter. Even though I want to read this ASAP, I will hold off for now. But also, can we talk about the purple? It's so pretty. I love this color so much, and honestly, these look so stunning together. I cannot wait to see what the third one looks like if these are so gorgeous. So there's those as well. So those are all of the spooky and some not so spooky books that I have acquired recently. Hopefully, maybe I've given you guys some ideas for spooky books you may want to buy yourself. If that is the case, please let me know which of these you are interested in. Or if you've read any of these and you love them and I haven't read them yet, please yell at me to read them. I always need the motivation. Also, thank you again so much to Casetify for sponsoring this video. Again, if you want to use the link casetify.com/katieisreading, you can get 15% off of your order. So yes, I think we're done here. I really hope you guys enjoyed the haul. I'm so sorry if this is like a million years long. I need to stop buying books, honestly. Like, I think I need to go on a book buying semi-ban in November. We'll see if that happens though. It probably won't, but it's fine. So I will let you guys go, get back to your day. Hope you guys are having a good Monday, and I will see you in my next video.